Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. Happy Monday. Alrighty. Another week. Here we go. Here we go. Welcome back, everyone. Get the economic calendar going. Here it is. Very nice. All right. Morning, Margin. As always, Captain Ponzi. Morning, guys. How's everyone doing? Jose, pleasure seeing you on Saturday, brother. Trader J, 3 Printer, Kavi, Robert, Closer. Morning, everyone. Welcome back. What a Friday it was. What a Friday it was. Appreciate that, Chef. Yeah, I had a local guy want to take some photos of the car, so I said, why not? Let's do it. That was cool. Morning, everyone. All right. So, wait a few minutes for some people to jump in, but Friday, big move higher, right into the 5,900 on ES. Did a really good job Friday, which, typically sometimes I find myself getting caught up, but very happy with how I went about Friday. Pretty much was just selling all day. I did not open up any new positions on Friday. It was a full day of selling, which I am happy about. Just selling into the big push, into that early morning push towards that 5,900 supply. Got rid of my Nvidia position for profit. Got bailed out of that one nicely. Got out of my short-term TSMs. Got out of some longer-term or some short-term Tesla. And then held on to just some longer-dated contracts on both Tesla and TSM, which this morning, unfortunately, TSM getting hit by a little bit of news. So causing some downside there. And then Tesla looking interesting over 270, but pretty much just did a good job of de-risking and then holding some longer dated contracts. This morning, looking like another interesting gap up after that intraday fade on the market. We went right back into that 20 SMA, man. Right back into that 5840, which is crazy. I mean, right back into 5840 and another hold of that 5840. Now, the thing that I'm sort of concerned about today is the gap up, right? I'm still a little bit concerned about the gap up. I don't really love the gap up. It's never a great thing, right? In the recent, few weeks, every gap up has sort of been followed by a gap fill. So even the gap up on Friday, right? We sort of had a gap and go on Friday. You saw what happened, right? I mean, we had a gap up, we had a go, we had a major supply rejection, and straight back down to fill that gap. And this morning, we open up on another gap fill. So do we need to fill that gap again? That's very possible. And, that's what we're going to have to plan for. And right now, you can see there is a little bit of weakness coming in, and gap fill is still possible here. So, yeah, it's an interesting morning. We do have some upside on some nice tech names, some strong moves. But the gap up it's not like, oh, here we go. It's a little bit questionable. Let's be careful there. And then let's just understand that there's a lot of earnings this week, right? A lot of earnings this week, a lot of economic data. So this does not, just because we gapped up here on Monday morning, does not mean that the markets are for sure going higher. So far, a great hold of the 20 SMA, which was sort of our analysis from last week, which has been awesome. But, these are still seemingly some short-term opportunities. I think this is still a profit-taking, when we get those big moves like Friday, you gotta sort of de-risk a little bit. I didn't want to hold my whole position, my whole size into this week. I thought Friday was really the day that sort of gave you the opportunity to de-risk into big upside moves. And that was, I think, the proper call. But still, some interesting holds out there. Let's pay attention to them. Let's take a look today. One stock that I think I might be interested in trading through earnings, guys, that is only if I can get some profits on it prior. So I'm going to try to pull some profits out of the play prior to earnings, and then hopefully try to trade, whatever my profits are, try to risk that through the earnings move. I will talk about the stock that I'm watching for that today as well. I will only do that if I can find a way to sort of profit on some intraday action today. That would be my goal. So we'll see. We'll see how that plays out. All right. Let's get started. 1,100 people, 300 likes. If you guys could, press that like button. 30% of you that are here have pressed the like button. If we could bump that number up, I'd appreciate that. Let's jump into the earnings calendar, because that's really the big boy. And here it is. So, earnings calendar. It's getting hot, right? Earnings season is ramping up. So today, not too much. Not really anything I'm interested in. Tonight, after hours, Ford Transmedics. I'm not sure what that is. What Waste Management. Nothing really here that I'm interested in. Tomorrow before open, SoFi, PayPal, McDonald's. This will actually be interesting. McDonald's, because of the recent news. BP, Pfizer, Royal Caribbean, Crocs, JetBlue. Tomorrow after close, this is where it starts to get interesting. AMD and Google. AMD and Alphabet. Two big ones there. These are definitely something to be paying attention to, right? AMD has been a laggard, and so has sort of Google, right? Google and AMD have sort of been lagging, and this could be a very interesting event on their earnings to see how they are performing. So, interesting there. AMD, Alphabet. Going to watch that. Snapchat, Chipotle, Visa, First Solar, EA. Wednesday before open, Eli Lilly, hot stock. Has been a hot stock. Caterpillar. Microsoft, Meta, Coinbase. Big ones there, right? Microsoft and Meta. Obviously, huge names. Uber, Peloton. Peloton. Probably for somehow Peloton probably goes up like 100% on earnings. I have no idea. But Uber has been a stock that I've always been have been interested in. We've talked about Uber a few months back, talking about just how integrated that stock is and how integrated that company is into like humans at this point, into our daily lives. Interested to see how they perform. Amazon and Apple that's always a big Thursday. It's always on a Thursday. It's always a big Thursday. That's that big Thursday right there. Apple, Amazon. And that's about it, man. So you guys can see, right? You got some big tech names here. You got Microsoft, Meta, AMD, Google, Amazon, Apple, right? And so pretty much every day, something different can come in, right? Maybe tomorrow we get beats for Google and AMD. Maybe Wednesday we get some weakness on Microsoft, right? Maybe Apple does well on Thursday, some weakness on Wednesday on Meta, right? And so you just got to make sure you understand that this whole week is probably not the week to be putting major risk on swing trades. This is definitely not the week to be putting major risk on swing trades, because every single morning or every single night that the market closes, a different event can come in, a different move can come in. So I don't think there's any real reason to be guessing through all of this. That's just not typically what I recommend. If you want to maybe take something here, if you want to try an earnings, if you think there's a stock that's sort of beat down that may have some opportunity, which is something I'm looking to do, then just scale down, guys, right? Take it small size, take a shot if you want, but please don't make this like the make or break week of your portfolio. Please, 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 please. All right. Economic calendar. Today, nothing. So nothing to worry about today. Tomorrow, consumer confidence and jolts at 10 a.m. So we do need to be paying attention to that. That's 30 minutes after open tomorrow. Wednesday, non-farm employment change, GDP, pre-market. Thursday, pre-market, PCE, employment cost index, unemployment claims. Friday, average hourly earnings, non-farm employment change, unemployment rate, and some PMI action. So A lot of stuff. Right? A lot of stuff. I say trade intraday. If you're going to hold something overnight, de-risk. That's the name of the game, right? Trade something intraday. If you like it overnight, think about it, right? Make sure you are properly risked. You're properly risked, right? That's it. Just accept the risk. Make sure it's proper for the portfolio. Don't leverage your portfolio through these overnight moves all week. Okay? That's my piece of advice for this week. That's always the piece of advice for a major earnings week with so much question marks around these companies' earnings. Okay? All right. With that said, let's get started. So, NASDAQ futures. Here we go. Hourly chart. NASDAQ futures. Wednesday, aggressive downside move right into our 20,100. It held. Thursday, we talked about this hold at the 20 SMA, 20,300. We talked about Friday morning. It was the pre-market live stream on Friday. We said how we liked that hold back above 20,300 to facilitate possibly more upside, and that is exactly what you got on Friday. You pretty much got a gap and go straight squeezer Friday morning straight to the upside. Now, where did the NASDAQ futures trade into? The NASDAQ futures traded right back into major supply, okay? Right back into these highs and right back into those highs at 20,680. 20,680 failed for almost 2 hours, right? We really couldn't get a move back above it. We had the 20,680 fail, 20,680 pop and fail, right? And definitely just heavy action all day Friday at this level. There was no excuse not to de-risk into this supply level. If you got caught in this drop on Friday, on whether it was the NASDAQ or the ES, it is not manipulation. It is not bullshit. It is not whatever you want to blame it. It is simply the exact same high rejecting again. I mean, it could not be more clean. This is trading with levels rather than trading off of emotions, okay? If you went straight to the upside on Friday, right back into a major rejection spot, why would you think that there is not a possibility of the same thing happening, okay? So we went straight up, right into supply. We profit took, right? We de-risked into supply. That's what we do. That's what I teach. And if the drop comes in, well, you already were taking profits into the supply level if you were long, which is exactly what you need to continue to do regardless of what you think's going to happen, right? We were making jokes on Friday. Or actually, we were making jokes on Thursday. This is it, right? That's what, right? So this is what your body wants to tell you, all right? Let me walk through what your body and your human emotion wants to tell you when you hit these rejection points. You know rejections are possible here. If you pay attention to anything I talk about, you knew that 20,680 was a major supply level. This is the same thing as 5,900 on the ES, which is the exact high of Friday, which is crazy. The exact high of Friday, 5,900. You know that that's a supply level, but your body and your mind and your emotions will not allow you to profit take because this is the time it breaks out, right? It's always this time. This is always the time because I have long exposure. It has to break out this time, right? Trust me, this is the one that breaks out. I have to hold, right? This could be huge. I have to hold and continue to maintain. I can't take any risk off because this is the time it breaks out, right? That is what always goes through your mind when the market's aggressively pushing higher into potential rejection points. But you can see once again how the market will respect the levels and it does not care about your emotions, okay? So straight up into that supply level on Friday, exact rejection point previously, right here, and it does it again Friday afternoon. No excuses to get caught in that drop if you knew what your levels were and if you were trading with the levels rather than trading off emotion. So very nice. Now, after that downside move, where do we come back down into? We come right back down, which is quite interesting and something I'm definitely watching today. Look at where that drop came back down into. If TOS would let me zoom in, which it rarely lets me. The drop on Friday, where did it come down into? That drop off that 20,670 supply, which is textbook, came right back down into these previous triple top highs. Look at this. Triple top high there. Look at that hold right there Friday at close. Right at 20,470. Very interesting there. That's actually a new level that I'm definitely going to keep on the charts now, right? I've had this level on the charts sort of here and there. I've sort of kept it on. I've taken it off. But this level now I think has solidified a reason to stay on, right? Look at these previous triple top highs right here. And look at how that held the exact low of Friday. So that is very interesting. 20,470. That is definitely staying on my charts now. Obviously, the 20,300's that big supply low. And then the one level that I think can save us from gap filling today, the one level that saves you from gap filling. If this level breaks, you will gap fill. If this level holds, you will not. That level is 20,600 on the NASDAQ futures. That is this double top high right here. 20,600, 20,600. If we maintain over 20,600 today, then I think there is a chance that you sort of maintain higher and get the push through, right? That is if you maintain 20,600. If you break under that today, then you are, I think, very, very likely gap filling, okay? If you break under 20,600 today on the NASDAQ futures and you start to see failures below it, I would assume that the NASDAQ futures gap fills back to 470. That is very similar to what happened, right? Look at what happened when you lost 20,600 on the NASDAQ futures on Friday. You pushed higher, right? Pushed higher towards that upside supply. You sort of had this flagging move to the downside off of 20,600. It provided that retest long entry short term, but, right, and this is something that, this is actually a great learning lesson. Maybe I'll probably do a recap with the group on this one. But you can trade the break and retest, which is exactly what this is. This is that long, right? When you trade a break and retest after rejecting a major supply, you still have to respect the supply above, all right? So you still have to say, hey, we got a major supply above at 20,680. We're coming back down into 600, which I think could be a nice retest long. But that doesn't just mean, oh, yeah, I don't give a shit about this supply anymore, right? This is now for sure going to break out. That is not what that means. So while there was a nice retest long entry at 600 on Friday, you are only looking, if you're going to take that trade, you are still only looking for a move back into that supply high, which maybe you can take some runners, right? Take some profits off into the push, maybe hold some runners for the potential breakout. But then if it doesn't, right, then you're going to have to, cut those runners for, let's say, break even. But that was a very nice break and retest on Friday. But you can see we just did not have enough juice intraday to get us above the major supply, which ended up failing. And when we broke back under 20,600, look at how aggressive this market got to the downside. So today, it's the same exact thing, right? If you can hold above 20,600, which it looks like there's definitely some buyers stepping up here. It could be down into like the 580, it looks like. It might even be down to like this 560 spot. But I'm definitely going to watch more like the 585 to 600 here, right? This spot right here. If you can hold this zone, then I think you can continue higher today without gap filling. If you do see us very clearly fail under 600 today, then I would assume you possibly gap fill this move, and that would be where I'd look to reload the longs back at that 470 spot. All right? Now, this is the same exact thing today, okay? Any longs that you take here today are at risk of these rejections. So you have to make sure you understand that today. If you're going to long 580, 600 today, then you're not just saying, oh, I don't give a shit about this supply, right? That doesn't matter to me. I'm looking for new all-time highs off this level, right? That doesn't make any sense, okay? That makes no sense. If you're going to long this 585, 600, you need to have a respect for the upside supply, and you better be cautious of what happens at this spot, no matter how greedy or rational that you're going to be. If you take a long here, it could fail here, right? And if you don't take profits on that push, you could get exactly this. You could get a pop-off 600 back in the supply, buyers fail again, slips back to the downside, gap fill move, and you get absolutely railed after being up, let's say, 30% on Q longs. Oh, here we go, baby, up 30% on Q longs. I'm not taking profits. Bam. right? Off the exact same level. And then that's what? That's manipulation, right? That's manipulation, right? No, it's not, right? That's called not trusting levels, not respecting levels, not profit taking into the exact rejection point. That fails the market. So, got to stay disciplined. If you're going to be trading in these channels, you got to stay disciplined. So, today, 20,600, 585, you failed out. You're going back to 470, 680 above is that supply level you have to break. If you do not, markets can continue to stay weak under this major supply. If we get above that today, 20,800. Okay? All right, that's it. QQQ, 500. 500, QQQ, 500. It's about as easy of a level to pay attention to. It's exactly 500. It's just a psychological, very clear level here. 500 on the QQQ. That is a must break today to get more upside. To the downside, I would be watching 497 and 494. These are the two levels that we talked about on Friday. These are some very clean levels. 497 is the double top high right here. That would be my first pullback watch today. 497 could be a great pullback long to keep an eye out for. If we get under 497, right here, 494, which is the exact hold of Friday close, which again, look at this. Previous highs, 494, triple top highs into lows on Friday close. Very interesting. So, 494, 497, those are two very interesting pullback longs today. If you get under 497, you will gap fill to 494. And a gap fill to 494 could be a fantastic long entry. That could be a very interesting long entry. So, 494, 497, both major watches. Any long you take today, you better be profit taking into 500. If you long 497 today and do not profit take into 500 and 500 rejects, and then you go and you complain about what happened on the market, that is nothing, that is no one's fault but your own. That is your own fault. And you need to man up and accept that you did not take profits into a rejection spot. That is not manipulation. That is called not taking profits. That's pretty much what that is. So, any long today has risk of rejections at 500. You better understand that if you're stepping into this market today. If you can get over 500, that clears up another move to the upside very nicely. Okay? 500, 497, 494, very clear levels on the QQQ today. S&P 500 futures. What a beautiful long this was off of the retest level, man. What a beautiful long this was off 5,800. Just perfect. Previous 5,800 highs. Perfect longs off the 5,800 spot. What a beautiful little push for now. But there's still some things to be cautious of here, and I will talk to you about it right now. The things to be cautious of are still the 5,900 level above. This is the exact rejection point from Tuesday. Rejection point from Monday, right? Look at how we failed 5,900 and look at the failure on Friday. It's the exact level. So, any upside today, you better be aware of what 5,900 is doing. That is a very possible failure spot, and you want to be a profit taker into that level. And this is where you think about risk reward when you enter a trade. If you cannot pull a profit out of a trade before you hit 5,900, what does that mean? That means that you are trading a terrible risk reward trade, right? If you start taking longs right here today and you said, oh, I like the long here, but, ES is right at 5,900. I'm not sure it's going to break out. Well, yes, you're right? That's a reason not to take a trade, right? We're not going to long right into Friday's highs. So this is why we look for pullbacks, right? I want to be in profit by the time we get into the rejection spot. I need to be in profit before we get here. How do you get into profit before you get into supply? You better be able to have confidence on buying some pullbacks, right? If you don't, then you're going to be buying and chasing longs into supply. That's how you lose money, okay? That's why traders lose, because they can't buy pullbacks. They don't trust downside. They don't trust that these levels are going to hold. So what do? They wait for the market to look good. Oh, it looks good now, right? And we're right into rejection points. I'm going to long here. Bam. Why does the market hate me? I can't believe it, right? So mentality, mindset, think about that. So today, if we get pullbacks into 58.40, right, 20 SMA, that would be a very interesting spot today, right? 58.40 was that 20 SMA. Look at the hold on Friday. That is these previous highs. That 58.40 would be a very interesting spot. That would be a gap fill, right? And that would be a potential 20 SMA long once again. That's something I would definitely watch. Now, the other level I'd be watching here is around this 58.68. This is that Thursday high. If I go to the 15-minute chart, you can see right here, 58.68. Thursday's high is 58.70 right here. I would look to see if that holds today. You can see right here, it's attempting to hold right now. 58.68, 58.70 spot. This would be a very key hold for me on the S&P 500. If you fail below this, you're going for the gap fill, right? Under 70, under 68, I think you see the 40 and you see the gap fill. If you hold over this Thursday high here and you keep this as a low today, maybe it's down to like, it might even be down to like this little 58.60 spot, right? Let me make this very clear before I go any further. At least I'll give you my opinion on this, okay? This is not an interesting short to me, okay? You guys do you. But let me explain to you why this is not an interesting short today. For me, I am not interested ever in shorting into a 20 SMA on the daily chart. It's just not interesting. That is not a short. You do not, in my opinion, you are not shorting. I'm not shorting short term into major demand. So this is not an interesting short. There's a few reasons why. Number one, 20 SMA is down there. Number two is that I think it could hold even at like the 58.55, 58.60 area. It could pretty much hold anywhere in this area. It could do a little bit of this, right? 58.50, right? It could do a little bit of 58.60, right? It could hold at some of these previous highs right here. And I'm not sure exactly what it's going to do. So I don't really like getting sweaty in this area here. It's just not interesting to me. Now, for some, it might be, right? Under that 68, maybe you want to fade that into 40. That's not a bad, it's not a bad idea. I think it's very possible. I'm just not interested in sweating a short-term downside trend in a long-term upside move, right? So, it's definitely possible. You could look for it today. If you hold under that 68, if you hold under, it could be anywhere. It could be these lows right here around that 60, right? See these 60 lows right from back here. So I'm not exactly sure where you're going to get that quite yet. This is where that intraday sort of management takes place. We have to see what happens on the intraday. But yeah, I'm just not interested in generally shorting into the 20 SMA. I think it'll be a very easy flip short under the 20, right? And definitely sellers stack up there. So not too interested in fading this downside here today. I would say that 60, that 70 spot, definitely interesting. 40 is definitely the target on the gap fill. I would watch that. Let me delete this for the second. But overall, what I'd want to see for the markets to maintain today, what I'd want to see for the upside to stay strong is a hold over this Thursday high, right? Let's see some wicks, right, on the hourly chart or on the 30-minute chart. Let's see if we can get the general hold over 68.70 today. If we can, then I think you will trade back into 5,900, right? And then that is, again, where you need to be cautious of shorts, okay? So 5,900, 59.15, 58.70, 58.68, and then 58.40. Very nice. SPY. All right, so the SPY, you guys can see the 585. That is the exact quadruple top that caused the failures on Friday. No surprises there, right? We got our big push off the 579 demand, squeeze up, gap and go, right into the triple top all-time highs, and there's a downside move. Not a surprise in the slightest, right? The exact rejection point we could not break above all week. Why not have that happen again? Exact same level, and it could absolutely happen again if we get up there again. So this is still the brick wall above 585 SPY. Now, downside, 574.50, nice hold. 20 SMA, nice hold. And even on Friday, 20 SMA, nice hold. 577, very nice demand level there, and 574.50. Now, above that, we have the 579, and we have the 581 right here. 579 is something I would watch today. And then 581 is something I would watch today as well. So watching these Thursday highs at 581, if that holds, I like the upside. If we break under 581, we gap fill into that 579 or possibly that 577 20 SMA. And then this would be, again, a interesting downside move to watch to see if there's another long that sets up off these lows, if we get that move. Strongest move of the day, if you don't want pullbacks, the strongest thing that could possibly happen is a hold over Thursday's highs here at 581. That would be the strongest thing that could happen today, right here. I'd prefer some gap fills to be more confident, but that would be like sort of the, hey, I'm not pulling back, I'm going straight up today. 581, that would be the level, which aligns perfectly with the 5868 on ES, which aligns with the 20,600 on NASDAQ, which aligns with the 497 on QQQ. IWM, 219, that's a must hold, right? 219 or that 217, two nice holds. Keep an eye on those. And then the Dow Jones has been relatively weaker, but the Dow Jones seemingly coming into a major downside demand here. 42,200, 42,100. But the Dow has been relatively weak, and what a rejection this was on Friday. Let me show you this rejection on Friday. This was sick on Friday. Let's go to that 30-minute chart. We talked about this level exactly in the live stream. If you guys trade the Dow, congratulations if you caught this. This high at 42,850. What a pop and what a fade. That is perfect at the 20 SMA on the Dow. So today, I'd be a little bit cautious of that same thing happening at 42,600. Right here, 42.6, 42.6. I'd be a little bit careful on that Dow rejecting 42.6 here. So 42.6, 42.850 are now potential failure spots on the Dow. What a beautiful 20 SMA rejection on the Dow on Friday. Perfect. Only reason I'd be cautious on the shorts at this point is because if you zoom out, right, make sure you get the bigger picture. If you zoom out, look at where the Dow has traded down into. We are right back down into the major demand at 42.1, 42.2. Okay? All right. 2,300 people here, almost 1,000 likes. If you guys press that like button, subscribe to the channel for me. Doing a big giveaway, guys. If you're not subscribed to the channel, I'm going to show you guys the giveaway that we're going to be running. It's an interesting giveaway. It's really up to you, right? It's up to you how much I give away. It's all in the power of the people. Power of the people. Let me go ahead and show you what we're doing here. But power of the people. Number one, I want to do a few things to talk about here, okay? Number one, please do not get scammed, okay? Number one, please do not get scammed on Twitter, on X. My name is DesiTrade, Desi_trade. It has a check mark. It has the launch pass, which I need to get this changed. It has this logo, right? And you can see my name, Desi_trade. That's it. No options_insider. No Desi_Temerde. No Desil trades. No Desi_trades. Look, they put an S at the end. No Desi_trade_. No Desi trade. And no Desi trade. Okay? It's Desi_trade. And it has a verified logo here. If it is not this one, you are getting scammed. And someone got scammed on Twitter because they messaged me and they said, "Where's the money I sent you? You're not trustworthy." I did not receive your money, and you got scammed. So please stop sending money to people online. Please stop sending money because people ask you for money online. Okay? If someone just says, "Hey, man, give me some money." Right? No, it's not. Please. Okay? Options Insider. Please, that's the first thing I need to go over. Don't get scammed, please. Number two. Big giveaway. Okay? 100,000 subscriber giveaway. Help me get to 100,000 YouTube subscribers by December 31st, and I will give away up to $10,700. This is pretty much $100K minus my subscriber count at the point. For every subscriber from this point forward, I will throw $1 into the giveaway. Okay? Retweet, share for a higher chance to larger giveaway. Blah, blah, blah. So, whatever we're at on December 31st, I will give away, let's say we get to 92,000. Okay, we get to 92,000 subs. You subtract that from 89,300. That's how much I'll give away right there. Okay? If we get to 100K, which we're not, unless people start pressing the subscribe button and start sharing, I'll give away $10,700. But we'll see what happens. So go go follow me on X. Make sure it's not a scam account, and subscribe to the channel. Okay? All right. Let's continue. Press that like button, subscribe to the channel. Let's get into some stocks. Tesla. Here we go. Man, we were spot on about Tesla. It's gone and it's never come back. And I don't know if it's going to come back. That is the problem here. At some point it will, but I don't think it's ever going to, not ever. Let me not say ever. Ever is not a good word to use. In the short term, I don't think you're going to see 216 for a very long time. I do not think you're going to see this entire pullback. That would be very rare to me. That's unless the market absolutely tanks. If the market tanks, then sure. But I don't think you're going to get an entry point, back in this area for, I can't put a time on that, okay? But I don't think that is coming anytime soon, personally. Where do I think pullbacks will potentially happen? That is on a failure, like a ugly failure of 270. If we get an ugly failure of 270, I think the proper pullback level is right around either this 250 area or this 246 area. These are two pullbacks I'd be watching. But for now, I'm just focused on the short term, right? That's how I'm trading Tesla. I'm literally watching this on the intraday basis on the 5-minute chart, because that's sort of how you need to stay in tune with Tesla for now. You have to stay in tune on the short-term levels for now. Understand where the long-term levels are, but also make sure we're watching these short-term pullback levels, because these short-term pullback levels are potentially levels that you need to be interested in to find an entry point here. So for now, here's the levels I'm watching on Tesla. Friday's highs, 269.40. That is the exact level that's holding in the pre-market today. If we hold above 269.40 on Tesla, I would assume this pushes today. Again, right? Again, I could see this pushing. If you hold over 269.40, 270 area, I would assume this pushes once again. If we fail under Friday's highs, then I would let this fade into 265 and possibly let it fade back into 260 again. Okay? If we fail back under Friday's highs, I would assume it fades at least to 265 at the very minimum, possibly down into the 260 again. 260 would be an interesting spot to pick some more, get some more longs near. Now, if we break 260, then we might see that 252. And this would be getting close to the extent of where I think that downside would come into. 252, maybe the 246, but I think that would be, it's possible as well. I think this one and this one are the extent of where I think Tesla pulls back to, right? Sort of retrace some of this move, 252, 246. That would also be getting close. That 20 SMA is going to start catching up to price action pretty quickly as well. So if we do get deeper pullbacks, I would say the 246 and 252 are my big spots. In the short term, I think the 265 and the 260 are very valid. That is the hold from Friday, and that is this hold from Friday. These are sort of some shorter term levels I'd be watching for some pullback longs. Now, we will not get a chance at those levels at all if we just hold over Friday's highs, right? If this Tesla just holds over Friday's highs, if there's more squeezing out there, more buying, and just generally just some more excitement over Tesla, I think you're just going to hold 269.40 and you're going to push to the upside again. That is something I'd be very much paying attention to. The next level that I have here on Tesla to the upside is 285. I believe it's 285. Hold on one second. Let me go out to that daily chart. Let me get more time. I think I saw it on the daily. Yes. Okay. So the next level, I really had it on the 4 hour. Let me go to the 4 hour. I think it looks better on the 4 hour, actually. 4 hour, 360 day. The next level that I have here on Tesla to the upside is right here. It's these highs right here at 279.50. See this high right here and this high right here? That's 279.50. That's my next level above. Above that, 284, right? These are really the only two next levels here, in my opinion. If you get over 279.50, if you get over 284, then I think you are straight through here, right, to 300. If you can get over that 284 and that 279.50. Right now, you're trading around 270, which is that major spot. 270 is a big spot right here, right here, right here. I think if you get a comfortable hold over that 270 today, I believe you can see that next push towards this 279.50. That would be the next big test. That's if you can hold over Friday's triple top right here. See this? Bam, bam, bam. Can that maintain today? If so, I think there is still strength on Tesla, and I would be looking for the longs at that level. Under this high, you trade back into that 265 spot. Okay? All right. That's that. Nvidia. Bailout. Very nice move on Nvidia. I've been holding Nvidia longs as long as we're above that 137.50. Got a nice pop into that all-time high on Nvidia on Friday. Sold all of my position into that high. And man, does that feel good, right? There's something feels good about, de-risking a position after being long down here into the supply high. And really, unfortunate truth is probably selling into retail traders, right? And so this is exactly what I'm going to continue to do. I'm going to look for pullback longs in a bullish market and take profits into supply highs. That is what I've been doing. I've been talking about this for weeks now. That's what I'm going to continue to do. I'm not going to be scared of buying pullbacks and selling into supply highs. So today, we're watching a few levels here, 142 and 141. These are two levels that I'd like to see maybe get pullback longs at today. Give me a gap filled at 142 or 141, right? Let me see if there's some entries at those levels today. If there is, I would look to trade that back into this high and then profit take into the all-time high. If we get under 141, I'm a little bit more cautious on Nvidia. I think that might need a little bit more downside back towards that 137.50. So for me today, I'm watching 141. I'm watching 142. I'm looking to see if there's pullback longs at these levels. If there is, I would look to trade it back into this high and profit take into 144.50. Holds over 144.50 would be the most bullish thing to see. I'm not sure you're going to see that today, though. AMD. Now, this is getting interesting, okay? AMD earnings tomorrow, and this, to me, looks like a bottoming formation if I've ever seen one. AMD, very clean downside channeling move, right? Rejecting the channel high every time and coming back down into the 150 demand. Now, on Thursday into Friday, we started to break this move. You can see right here, look at the bottoming formation that we're starting to get, right? We had key demand here. We broke below it and rejected it, and we reclaimed it on Friday. That is beautiful. Beautiful, 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 right? And this was a perfect retest of 156 on Friday. Hold on here. Pause 1 second, please. Yes, that was an English accent. I want to show you what this looked like if I can find the message. I don't think I'm going to find it. Oh, well. We were talking about AMD on Friday because we were all sort of interested in that pullback long, right? We were interested in the pullback long, but the interest was when it was straight up. And we got the pullback intraday back to the key demand, and I challenged, the people in the community and said, "Hey, you liked the AMD swing trade when it was straight up this morning, right? Now that it's pulled back intraday into the key demand, are you still interested? Right? Are you still interested now? Or now you're not, now you don't like it, right? These are the mental things you need to put yourself through. We liked the swing trade on AMD when it was straight up early morning. Oh, here we go, right? Let's take some AMD trades. Here it is. Unfortunately, I didn't send. Oh, here it is, right here. All right, so here's exactly the challenge that you need to be putting on yourself as a trader, okay? 3:39 p.m. on Friday. I said AMD at your retest level. If you liked it straight up this morning, maybe more intriguing at key demand, right? This is the type of thought process you need to think about. You liked AMD on the swing trade straight up in the early morning session, right? Straight up. You loved it. Oh, man, AMD, here we go, right? And then AMD pulls back to the key demand, which is that 156 spot, that key retest level, previous high, into the lows, right? And then do we still like it? Do we still like it? And then you can see the result of this today. Sick. So, do I still like it? Yes. I'm definitely still interested. This is potentially one that I look to put a little bit of juice on into earnings. Expected move here is $9. So it's a little bit, it's about 5%. No, it's about 10% 15. 5% would be like 7.5. It's like 6-7%, right? So about $9-10. So you'd say, maybe AMD up to 170, like up into here. Could it stay within the expected move? Absolutely. The only reason I'm sort of interested in here is because I think this is a little bit of a disrespected semi. I think there might be some opportunity, and I really like this bottoming formation that's coming in. Look at this thing right here. This looks very interesting. Look at that little push to the upside. I am interested. If I could get profits on AMD intraday, I would risk some of those profits into the earnings, right? That's pretty much how I would play this. If I can try to day trade some AMD off 156 today, maybe get some longs into 162, take some profits, and then use that money to risk-free trade through earnings, that would be something I would look to do. So for AMD, while it does look good, we still need to get over that 162. Be careful up there. TSM, a little bit of downside this morning, a little bit of news, something about their semiconductor, something about their chips in China, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not too interested in that. I'm just watching the levels. TSM, beautiful push for us on Friday. Took those profits into that move. Failed back under 203, but I am definitely still interested. Look at that 197.50 level, 196, and still the 194 below. I am definitely interested in where I can accumulate positions on TSM. I still think this is a very interesting trade. If you go to the 4-hour chart, it's just sort of accumulating, sort of holding above that 194 spot. Might take some time. I don't know if it's going to be, an immediate move for you here, guys. It was nice on Friday, but failing right back in the channel. So I'm starting to think that it might just be sort of a slow consolidation, and then we got to wait for this thing to find a real footing. But for now, I'm definitely going to maintain my monthly contracts as long as we're above that 197.50 for sure. Broadcom, 173, big spot there. We got to get through some names here. We spent a little bit too much time on a few of those names. So Broadcom, I'm not that interested, 173. MU, keep an eye on that 109. That's a big supply level above, but I don't really like that one today. ARM, I would keep an eye on this ARM pullback. You can see ARM pulled back to that 135. That's an interesting spot there on ARM. Keep an eye on that 135. All right, this is the other stock that I think I want to try to trade through earnings here today, guys. Google is just the definition of an inverse head and shoulder on like a multi-month setup. I mean, this just looks special to me. I think Google could absolutely see something like this on earnings. It's a total guess. It's a total guess. So you need to know that. This is a total guess, but I love that Google's at this 200 SMA. I think there is an opportunity off the 200 SMA. You can already see the excitement that's starting to come into this name. If you go to the 4-hour chart, this thing is starting to wake up, right? Look at the accumulation above that 200 SMA. Look at this right here. Just holding above, holding, and possibly getting your breakout move here above 170. If we can hold above 170 today, I'm definitely looking to trade this thing. Over 170, I would absolutely look to trade this into 175, into 180, into 186, right, and into 190, right, and then maybe why not Google all-time highs, right? If the NASDAQ, if there's a strong earnings out there, which is a guess again, right, make sure you know this, that's a guess. There is guessing involved in earnings plays, but that's why we manage risk, right? I'm not going to put my entire portfolio through this idea, but there is, I think there is some risk worth taking, at least in my opinion. If there's a strong earnings season out here this year, guys, if tech is getting hot, why not Google, right? Why not? Why is there not an opportunity here? I'm definitely interested. This is not something I've made up overnight. You guys have heard me talk about this for months now. You've heard me talk about the catch-up trade on Google. You've heard me talk about focusing on the catch-up trades across the board. I'm definitely interested in catch-up trades in a bullish market, right? If we're risk on, if the market's going higher, then I want to be looking at where the catch-up trade is. I think Google could be one. I would pay attention to this 170 today. Amazon, another one that's but I would watch that 190, 150. Meta was very hot overnight. Meta would have pulled back into that 560 spot. I mean, what a beautiful, beautiful 4-hour pullback into 560 on Meta. Look at that. 560, beautiful thing, popping right back off that demand low. Today, I would be watching 583. Watch this supply rejection. It might even be 585, really. I think it's probably even 585. Right? Look at this right here. 585, 585, 585. Be careful there. We could absolutely fail that. I'd want to get above 585. If you can, then look for upside. Coinbase over 210. Watch that today. MicroStrategy is just a thing of break and retest beauty, man. MicroStrategy is actually MicroStrategy might be one I start to trade. Why? Because it has earned my respect. MicroStrategy has earned my respect. Why has it earned my respect? Because it holds retests like crazy. Previous highs right there. Look at that, right? Break, retest. Look at this long that sets up. Why am my friends texting in our Call of Duty group chat right now? They're up and early, man. They're getting to it. Get a job. All right, 227, right? Look at that previous high. Look at that hold, man. That is very nice. What a respect of that break and retest level. That is really clean. Where was the other retest? At that 220. That 220 was sexy as well. 220, that was sexy on Thursday. So some nice break and retest action out there on MicroStrategy. This may have earned my respect. I may start looking at this stock a little bit more. 245.50 looks to be the highs today. Let's see if we get a break and retest of that. But preferably you want a gap fill and you want a long back at this 227 spot. That's preferably. Okay. Netflix, 756. This might have been your pullback on Netflix. That might be as much as you get here. Right, but watch this 756 on Netflix. That's the key spot today. If Netflix can hold above that, maybe you get your next move on the earnings move. But I still am going to wait for the 736 personally. There will be a day that Netflix has that big downside day, catches everyone off guard, and then that sets up that next long. I'm going to wait for it. CrowdStrike still looks decent above that 299, 300 spot. I'd keep eyes there. Not that interested today, but sort of keep eyes on that thing. Microsoft 430. This is going to be the last one we talk about today, guys. Microsoft 430. See if Microsoft can hold above 430. Take a look at the break and retest that happened here. The 423 break and retest. What a thing of beauty. We talked about this on the stream both Wednesday and Thursday. If you come to the live stream, you heard us talk about the break and retest to this level, and look at the result that happens. Beautiful stuff. If you don't, right, I think one of the best things to do, guys, if you're trying to learn, I'm going to give you some advice. Watch like a week of live streams from us, okay? Start on Monday, start on Tuesday, right? Start on Monday. Go through the plays that we talk about. Go through and find the retests that we talk about and see how they work out, right? See how the break and retest work out through a week of analysis. I think it's a great little thing for you to do when you have some time. All last week, we talked about this 423 retest after the straight-up move on Tuesday. We said wait for us to pull back into some key demands. That's what Microsoft did. It results in an upside trade, right? This right here is called a patient and mature trader. Microsoft straight up on Tuesday. I'm not going to chase this. I'm going to wait for a pullback. Pull back into my retest level. Retest level pulls back. I start a long position. I have a stop loss under my retest. And then on Friday, I get paid off and I take profits, right? That is a mature and patient trade. That is not a, holy shit, Microsoft straight up, I'm long my entire portfolio. Holy shit, I lost on a pullback. I can't believe it. Oh my God, Microsoft's back up on Friday. Why did I sell on Wednesday? I can't believe this. I suck at trading, right? That is... That is such a good example. And guys, I don't do this to insult you because I was doing the same thing, okay? I was that exact idiotic person at some point in my trading career. Trust me. But I do this because I can see exactly how this happens. After going through this, I could now see exactly how you lose in trading, right? Microsoft straight up on Tuesday. I can't help myself. I'm long, right? Wednesday, Thursday, double pullbacks. I have to take a loss. I'm down 50%. I've lost my account, right? Except, guess what? That pullback was into the exact retest level that you should be longing off of. Friday comes in, you just took a 50% loss on your account. Friday happens. I can't believe the market's up again. Why did I sell my position? I don't do this to insult anyone. I do this because I hope it makes you realize exactly how it's really such an easy thing to fix, but it's so in the moment, man. It is so the 1 minute time frame, the 9:30 bell rings, the heat of the moment's on, and total loss of control starts to come in. It's like we take a drug that just makes us lose all control, okay? This is what I challenge you to work on. I hope that little example resonates with someone out there, man. And I don't do it to be an asshole, but sometimes you need to hear it, right? That is exactly how important and how clean, right? You can sort of get an idea of what you're doing wrong. So if you do this, if you've seen this happen in your trading, I challenge you to stay patient, find real entry points, and that's it. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Press the like button, man. You still have 1,000 of you that can't press the like button. It's absolutely BS, to be honest. Press the like button, subscribe to the channel. Don't show up if you're not going to press it. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace and love.